So welcome everybody. Welcome to ICU. And so getting right into it, obviously we were talking just before this with Andrew, and he just got back from Vegas. He was at Blueprint with lots of CEOs of prop tech companies, with lots of broker owners there, lots of team leaders. And I really want to know, with everything that went on with the NAR, I think you were talking about just earlier how it put everybody at the starting line. And everybody's trying to figure out what to do. And I really want to really want to dig in your mind and just collect any sort of valuable insight that you got from Blueprint. And so my first question is, like, where do you think the future is going for real estate agents?
So it's a big question that was asked on stage at Blueprint, and you're talking a lot of the top CEOs that were there. And the question is, really 3 or 4 questions. Are agents finished? Mm-hmm. That's 1. 2, are brokerages finished? 3, what about the MLS? So brokerages, agents, MLS, and portals. Mm-hmm. Those are the 4 main factors of real estate operations in the United States. Mm-hmm. And the question is, what's happening in all 4 of those? And you and I are going to we're just going to hit it head on. This is going to be about 30 minutes, and we're going to plow right through it. And I want you to understand, I've been in this industry a long time. I'm very positive about the industry, but I'm also not like going like this with blinders on. There is absolutely no doubt that all 4 of those sectors are changing. And our determination with iCONNCT, with the Warburton team, with all of the brokers that we interface with, is to be out front. So first question, are agents finished? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you a really tough answer here. Some are yes. Some are yes. So there has been a mode to be a real estate agent where you can work occasionally, make a huge fat commission that's guaranteed by the seller. You really don't use a CRM. You really don't use any sort of digital footprint communication, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But yet you're able to meet your uncle and make 15 grand. Mm-hmm. Within the next 2 to 3 years, most of those agents will no longer be in the real estate business. Now, what that does, by the way, NAR, they won't admit it, and many of the large real estate organizations expect as many as 300,000 agents to leave the industry in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, you might go, oh my God, that's absolutely horrible. No, it's not. What that means is the number of transactions over the next 2 years is going to go up. It's at a historic low right now. The number of transactions is going to go up because interest rates are going to come down. Inventory is going to free up. And the population is not shrinking in America, it's growing, and people need houses. So I want you to understand clearly that juxtaposition. On the one side, yes, some agents are finished. On the other side, the real estate process continues. Mm-hmm. So which agents are going to succeed? That's really the question. Mm-hmm. We wish well for everybody, but I don't want to be a fibber. I don't want us to be everything's fine, right? When it's not. It's fine for those who want to make it fine, right? Mm-hmm. Now you have to understand home buyers are going to have to start to pay. Yes, we're going to try very often to get the sellers to pay that commission, right? It just won't be posted in the MLS. And in many cases, sellers will, because trust me, as the inventory rises, sellers are going to be more and more willing to pay buyer agent commission, okay? Buyers are going to have to pay their agent, or at least be responsible for that payment, right? So they're going to be faced that up front. That's what the whole issue is with NAR. The buyer's expectations might not match the agent expectations. That's the biggest divergence that I see. The agent expectation is, give me a lead, make it easy. I want to put it in escrow, 30 days later, collect a check, get on with my life. That process, I would say, in the next, I don't want to exaggerate, year to 2 years is going to be pretty much eradicated, right? Buyers agents and listing agents are going to have to meet the demands of the consumer. And those are going to are changing dramatically, right? So what kind of agent is going to make it? Kind of agent that's going to make it is an agent that I call an evolved agent. Just like the travel industry evolved, the brokerage industry evolved. Do you see those ads on TV where an old guy my age, comes up and he's also stuffy and books on the shelf and I have your special investment portfolio here. And she's like, wait a minute. And she taps on an app and she buys some short stocks and it's done, right? That's what's happening in the real estate industry. You're going to see more and more action, seamless action on your cellular device, on a portable device, and the consumer expects real estate to be the same as everything else that they buy. So the evolved agent is going to succeed. The people who watch this are going to succeed. Tech-oriented agents are going to succeed. Why? Because people want info right now. You can't do that unless you have the tech, right? Available agents are going to succeed. I really want everybody to get this, okay? So it's evolved, tech-oriented, and available agents. Again, a lot of agents have real estate as a side hustle because all they had to do is pick up their aunt on the weekend and make 20 grand, right? Now the portals are gathering all those people in that by the time you're ready to work on the weekend, many of them are gone, all right? So that's why you're seeing the average agent not selling 5 to 10 anymore, but selling 1 to 5 anymore, okay? So evolved agents, tech, familiar agents, available agents, informed agents will also prosper because the consumer has more information than ever. I know when I just went to Vegas, I looked at like 6 hotels before I went. Now I finally went to the one recommended by the conference, but you couldn't do that in the past. You went in and spoke to a travel agent. People still have that attitude, particularly older people. I'm going to talk to my real estate agent, but now that information is very, very rapidly available online. So which agents are going to succeed? The ones that are tech available, their time is available, they're informed, right? These are the types of agents that are going to succeed. So are agents finished? No. Is the old school type of agent fading away? Yes. And that's why you see more and more agents going to side hustle. But I will tell you flat out, if you use the technology, if you understand what the consumer wants, which is agents on demand, they want direct communication. They want seamless transactions. They want fluid transactions. If you recognize that and learn how to do it, you're going to do extremely well.
Yeah. It seems like like I look at that, you said like some agents are now going to a side hustle. And I think because the agent who treats real estate as a side hustle is going to be gone.
That's exactly right.
And so they're going on to the next side hustle. And so, okay, so what does that mean for now MLSs?
So the MLSs is a huge piece. So I just got back from a conference and met with and ate with many CEOs of MLSs. Had the privilege of talking with the leaders of CoreLogic, for example, and you all know that CoreLogic provides the data for all of those MLSs, all of the property records, the ownership record, now satellite shots of the roof that go to insurance companies and banks before they lend, street view shots. All of this data comes from CoreLogic. They have a new product out, by the way, called Araya that is just like, it's like Star Trek. It's just the future, right? Well, Star Trek's the past, but you get my point, right? To know my age now, I talk about Star Trek. But the technology is outstanding. That technology flows through to the MLSs. So some say that the MLSs are going to go away. They're upset because MLSs are imposing fines, in some cases $2,500 if an agent doesn't get the BRBC signed. So there's a resentment piece in there. Really, the MLSs don't have much choice because they'll just be dragged into another $1 billion lawsuit if the agents don't keep the rules. So some people are upset with MLSs. I'm a great believer in the MLS system. So the question, will MLSs go away? No. And I would say, woe is the day for the American consumer that the MLS goes away. Let me explain this. The next controversy in the real estate legal system, the Department of Justice is big on this whole issue, is clear cooperation. This goes back about 5, 6 years, the clear cooperation policy, right? That you must put any listing you have in the MLS within 24 hours. Pocket listings, the NAR and CAR, the MLSs wanted to get rid of pocket listings, right? Now, a lot of agents and brokers, particularly brokers my age, who are particularly oriented towards the rights of agents, like pocket listings, right? And I'm going to give you an example here. In England, when you buy a house in England, you can have 5 or 6, they call estate agents in England, 5 or 6 estate agents in town. You can't go to an MLS and say, show me every house that's sold within 90 days in this area, right? And you can walk into the agency and they can give you whatever price they want on a property. You can go up to a seller of a house and get whatever price that they want to give you, right? In America, no. all of the listings are out there in the public domain. And so you as a buyer know everything that's available, right? Nobody's pre-deciding for you. Can you imagine if I pre-decided for you what you're allowed to see? So pocket listings do exactly that. Pocket listings hide inventory from people. That could be the greatest setback for human rights, for civil rights, for equal opportunity since the 1960s. The minute you say, this property is going to be in my private stash over here, and I will say there are some brokerages even who defend this, and it's coming back. But for home buyers across America, that is really bad news because now you know that inventory is not hidden. It had to be mandated, but it's not hidden. So MLSs disseminate, distribute a huge amount of data that portals then pick up, that everybody in America can see what did something sell for, who bought it, what was the price, what's available, and nobody can discriminate in any way against anybody by saying, oh, no, you can't see that house. Oh, that house isn't suitable for you. Oh, this is in my special stash for my special buyers. We all don't need much imagination to imagine how that can go. The shaping of neighborhoods, right? That's all part of that whole redlining that came out, you know, with the mortgage industry. So what will happen to MLSs? MLSs are going to become even better data distributors. I saw in this conference the data that's coming through MLSs. Everything from satellite views of homes, street views of homes, of course, all the data that the agent inputs, historical data on the homes, most likely sellers and buyers of homes. The data is going to go off the charts. And on the MLSs, you're going to see an escalation because the MLSs are going to go the direction of the portals, where their visuals are going to be as good as, if not better, than the visuals provided by Realtor.com and Homes.com and so on. Because those portals rose up, took business. Well, the MLS kept the business because they needed the feed, but they took the eyes of the consumer away from the public MLS and took it to their websites. You get that? So now those websites can sell those leads back. But the MLS is supposed to be there for the consumer and for the agent. So if the MLS increases and augments their technology, then their public IDs that are associated with each listing will draw that business back to the agent. The portals know this. They know it very well, and they're nervous about it. So they're just getting better and better and better, hoping that the MLSs don't catch up. So short answer to my question is this. MLSs, if they go away or if they diminish, is going to hurt human rights. It's going to hurt housing rights and equal opportunity in the United States. So you've got probably 2/3 of the industry that's fighting for MLSs, and 1/3, usually the privileged class, 1/3, the elite agents, the luxury agents, the privileged class is moving away from that, or at least supporting the idea of private packages of listings. I completely support equal opportunity, equal housing rights for all human beings who live within the United States. So I'm a huge fan of the MLSs, and I believe they're an integral part of the future.
I can imagine like I would say the conversations that are going on behind closed door between I would say like either like corporate of MLS and the corporate of the portals. And like that conversation, because they're like, wait a second, the portals are like, we're getting all of our data from you, and that's how we're, you know, bringing in our revenue and getting the attention of home buyers and agents. But then the MLSs, I'm pretty sure somebody in the MLS, like whatever MLS it is, in their mind, they're like, wait a minute, like we have access to that data first. And so if we just, you know, integrated better technology into our platforms, we can act as one of those portal companies.
So obviously that's a big part of the discussion. And we're going to go to another part in a minute, is what's going to happen on the search portals.
That's where I want to
Because
go.
you're like, you do very, very agile, by the way. I like the way you did that. So let's go back to this on the search portals, okay? The search portals, what's going to happen to them? Are they going to change? How are they going to change? So search portals essentially attract home buyers through superior technology. The way Zillow started, which I think leads all the search portals, the way Zillow started was, hey, let's take all of this data that was private and now let's make it public, right? 2 million viewers within 2 months. It was just phenomenal because the house buyer in America wanted to see everything, right? So They have superior technology, and that superior technology, watch this, draws the public eye more than the MLS. So think about an agent, okay? An agent finds a property in the MLS. Then they find that link, that public link, and they send that public link to the consumer. The number of consumers that look at the public link from the MLS compared to the number of consumers who look at the public link from portals, it's fractional. It's a tenth, maybe 20%, right? The MLSs need to heighten their technology, but also heighten the connection between their agents' customers. Did you hear that? Their agents' customers and the data. So MLS, agent, customer, right? So the MLS needs to heighten their technology so the customer wants to take the link from the agent and go back to that agent. Whereas now, look, the MLS data is going to the portal. The portal displays that data so well, the portal now grabs that customer and sends that customer back to the agent. So something you're going to see changes, the MLS is going to increase their public related data. Do you get that distinction? Their public related data, so the customer comes back to that agent. The portals are aware of that, and that's why the portals, and we appreciate the business from the portals, but it's they're working with each other, but they're also competing with each other at the same time, right? Remember that portals have primarily lived off referral fees. Now let's talk about that. What will happen next to search portals? So the portals have lived off referral fees. There's now a commission compression, which means that the referral fees will diminish. So the portals are going to have to find other ways of making money, which is going to be loans, it's going to be title, it's going to be escrow, it's going to be the entire process, which is why they're creating these super apps for the seamless transaction, because that's where their revenue is going to be. And actually, a super app is better for the consumer. Again, think about it on the MLS side, MLS, agent, escrow here, title there, agents available, maybe not. Can the buyer find you? Can the seller find you? All these complexities. Or you take a portal, beautiful data, all this fantastic display, consumer direct entire process right there. That's better for consumers. So the MLSs are going to go back to having more control of the entire process, and the portals are fighting for that control, right? So remember this. Buyers, think about sellers. The general public in America involved in real estate want a much more simple process, and they want to avoid the middleman. Some people say, oh yeah, agents are going to go away altogether. That's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen for reasons we can talk about in another podcast, right? What am I going to do? Hire a lawyer, give him $5,000, $400 an hour to read 100 documents? Is he going to show up? Is the seller going to let me in just because I want to show up on Saturday afternoon while he's watching football to look at a house? The agents are not going to go away, but the general public want a more direct approach. This is why in iCONNCT, we have built a system where sellers and buyers can go onto a map, find an agent, directly connect with that agent through video, and then arrange a showing, arrange a valuation without the embarrassment of a solar salesman, quote unquote, sitting in your home. That is where the industry is going. So everybody who watches this podcast know the industry is going towards direct connections rather than the middleman. Now the portals are fighting for that. So what you're going to see is the portals are also going to invent technology like iCONNCT that they can get that direct connection with the consumer, because now the consumer taps, they request a showing, it goes to a call center, goes to somebody else, goes to the agent calls them. It's a huge circle, right? So what will happen to search portals? They will grow. They'll become even more competitive. They will stress even more the seamless transaction, the smooth communication with the consumer, and the MLSs will become portals of their own. Do you see that switch? Right? And I want to address this next in your next question when we go to the brokerages, because it's the same discussion.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a very interesting take on the portals. So it's like, they obviously, in a way, it's like how I see it from what you just said. It's like they need the real estate agents in order to continue driving revenue for themselves. They've created technology that is consumer facing, and they're constantly I don't think it's just portals either. There's a lot of other prop tech companies that's like, hey, why is escrow 30 to 45 days? Can we create some sort of technology to make it 10 days, 15 days? So it's very interesting how, you know, again, like that battle between, and I don't even want to call it a battle, but it's just that conversation between MLSs and portals.
It's more than a conversation. It's just flat out American competition.
Yeah,
I
100%.
think to just simplify it, get this. The portal, the idea is the consumer. They draw tons of consumers. Now we've got to use agents, right? MLSs and brokerages, the idea is the agent. Now we need to find consumers, so the agents go to these portals to find the consumers and pay them for it.
Yes.
So the MLS in the industry is basically agent-centric.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That side, the operational side of the industry.
Yes.
The portals are consumer-centric. But when they get the consumers, they don't want to start brokerages other than Redfin. So they come back to the traditional industry. So all of that is moving right now.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
We as iCONNCT want to be in the middle of that. We just want to connect those buyers and sellers with whoever's going to win.
Yeah, and 100%. And I love that, like, agent-centric versus consumer-centric.
Yeah.
So now when you bring in a broker, so like now, like, you know, I want to ask this
This
way.
is a great conversation.
Yeah. And so like when it comes to the broker, are brokers like more leaning on the consumer-centric side and like trying to bring in technology to then get in front of the consumers and then they can leverage the agents in the brokerage? Or is it the opposite where it's like, let's give all this technology to the agents for them to then go get the consumers?
All right. So brokerage's focus with technology has been to provide technology to the agents that the agents say, I can only get that technology in this brokerage, therefore I'm going to stay. Brokerages have not had the mindset of the portals. The portal mindset is, let's contact consumers and then we'll generate a revenue stream by selling those consumers to the brokerages that have vocally said it is not our job to provide leads, right? You know my attitude, I never see a person as a lead. I see it as a relationship, and you build that relationship over time. But nonetheless, I don't want to digress, right? So the brokerages have been dedicated to this idea that we are here to support agents. They collect money from those agents, $50 a month, $80 a month, $100 a month. You got 200,000, 100,000. It's a lot of money. You can sell programs to those agents. Let's supply technology to those agents. That's all good. Let's supply technology to those agents. They can better serve their customers. But the agents get in this position where I'm like, okay, I got all this tech, but I got 3 customers. I got 7 customers. I got 8 customers. And you want to do 30 deals a year. So the portals saw that, and they saw the consumers starving for information like this. Whenever I want it, I want that information. So they provided that. Homes.com, Zillow.com, Realtor.com, they provided that. Now they're coming to the brokerages saying, okay, we got the consumers. So brokerages that are going to survive, by the way, brokerages are going to experience a 20 to 30% drop off in their agent count in the next 2 to 3 years.
See that? Yeah.
20 to 30%. Not only that, the agents that are left, there's going to be commission compression. And there's listing agents out there bragging right now that they don't have to use a buyer's agent. So I'm going to charge 4% for a listing. How long do you think that's going to last before the general public gets that? And there's another class action lawsuit against the sellers that they misused the Sitzer Burnett settlement and they charged more commission. There'll be another lawsuit. That's going to happen. There will be another lawsuit as listing agents increase their commission. Then there will be a seller side class action lawsuit. And that will also be something that will be legislated through the Department of Justice and so on and so forth. But without getting the conversation too complicated, right? Brokerages focus, feed the agents, give agents material so they can get more listings, so they can stand out and they keep loyalty. Portals give the customer information and availability of these agents because these agents tend not to be very available. So the brokerages that are going to survive are brokerages that are dedicated to training, not training what we did 20 years ago, right? Right? So that would be like Amazon training how to open a high street store. It's ridiculous, right? They train to you how to be an affiliate. They train how to do links. They train how to do all this online stuff, which is what we train in iCONNCT and iCONNCT University, right? So the brokerages that are going to thrive are going to train what we call digital footprint, where you're able to have this digital connection with customers in the cadence that they want, not the cadence we want, the cadence they want, which is, hey, I'm off work. Can you answer this question? Hey, I want to see this house. Can you let me in the house? That's the cadence consumers want. So the brokerages that train agents how to emerge in a consumer-centric society, those brokerages will succeed.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to take a few years, and there are people much more powerful than me, much wealthier than me right now that would sit me on a stage and trying to humiliate me and say, kind of puff up their chests a little bit and say how wonderful their listing systems are. They are wonderful. They're beautiful. They're fabulous. But society is moving to the consumer. The consumer wants freedom of choice of agents. The consumer wants freedom of choice in housing. The consumer wants accessibility. The consumer wants information. So the brokerages that train their agents how to be the consumer-oriented agent for today, those brokerages are going to succeed.
Yeah. Definitely. I could definitely see that. I can see specifically, I mean, this is just my take because I want to hear your take on this as well.
Yeah.
Like for coming to like concluding this, but like for real estate agents, I see them like the ones that are going to be successful and stand out is the ones that really lean on that brokerage that is leaning on them
100%.
to where they're like, hey, look, here's the technology, here's the, for the Workman team, here's the relationships I can give you guys, here's the training I can give you guys. And I really see like the real estate agents who just, knuckle down right now and they're like, all right, you know what? I'm going to every single one of these classes, learn as much as I can learn about my local area, about new technology that's coming out that is beneficial to buyers and sellers. I want to learn as much as I can when it comes to my sales tactics and just getting sharp with sales and negotiation. But where do you think that, so like, what do you think that a real estate agent in this, with everybody starting at the starting line, it's kind of like a change of the first question that we have. Like, what can real estate agents do right now knowing all this stuff?
All right, so let's just answer that and we can wrap up this section. I hope you guys enjoyed this, by the way. So look, let's go back in time a little bit. It used to be when you wanted a side hustle, you would buy some sort of product and you would go to swap meets. There's one in Orange County. It's one of the biggest in the United States, by the way. And you would see thousands of people on there on the weekend, right? The swap meets, right? And then Amazon came along. You could become an affiliate with Amazon. Drop shipping came along. All these redistribution methodologies came along, right? Now the swap meets really have a hard time getting the numbers of people there. Even fairs in fairgrounds, 4th of July, Del Mar, whatever. It's much more difficult to get people because you can buy it cheaper, easier, quicker access. Here it comes all again. Do you hear that? Quicker access, availability to salesmen, no negotiation, prices up front, full disclosure, seamless process. And so it's very hard to fill up the fairground anymore. It's very hard to fill up a swap meet anymore, right? That was an industry change. We're the same way. We have an industry, even though it has beautiful technology and data analytics that tells you who's the most likely seller based on the selling behavior in that region and their loan amount and so on and so forth. That's very, very sophisticated. But actually the process is like a swap meet. It's still, I'll show up when I want to on the weekend for a certain number of hours. I'll be available. Run through a whole process. So we're moving out of the swap meet era into the Amazon era. And the real estate industry is being dragged by its throat almost, pushed by the United States government, and even more powerful than the United States government, being pushed by consumer desire. It is the consumer sentiment that is driving our industry. That's why Sitzer Burnett got a ruling in 2 hours over an industry that had been operating pretty much the same way for 105 years. 2 hours, because the jury came back and they basically ruled this thing needs to change. So agents, look, let's wrap it up with this. Obviously, with iCONNCT, we have a platform that will answer many of these issues, which is you can connect direct with the consumer. The consumer can read your services in the menu of services. They can select your services. They can video you and talk to you. All you have to do is what the Amazon affiliates do. You just simply have to take links to the homes that you find, and when you promote those homes, say, you can reach agents on demand. You can reach me in real time. Now you're not sitting at the swap meet waiting for your Saturday open house. You're there round the clock with all the classes that we teach that people can contact you direct. Basically, agents are going to become like Amazon affiliates, but you're now becoming a real estate affiliate to real estate product. But the way that you present that product has to be exactly the way the consumer wants.
Mhm.
So get in trainings, learn digital footprint, learn everything you can about not just social media marketing, but how to actually make relationships. And I want to finish with this.
Yeah.
Make relationships through social media.
Mhm.
Everybody who sees social media just as a lead source gets disappointed. Well, I ran that ad for 3 days and I didn't get any business. That's because you see people as objects.
Mhm.
You cannot see social media as an object, the person as an object. That is a human being at the other end of that instant message. That is a human being at the other end of whatever form of communication they make. If you see social media as a way to make relationships, you will get organic response and a relationship with your consumers, and they will trust you in a way that they will not trust even a portal,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So learn everything you can, get involved in a brokerage wherever it is that is highly oriented to training how to meet the consumer demands of today, and you will succeed. And we're here for you at iCONNCT University.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the future.
Yeah, me too. Buyers have changed, and so now agents have to change with the buying
100%.
behavior.
That's it.
So, yeah, love it.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Amazing.